Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Let's get started. And we begin on this frigid evening with a live look at Schweitzer Mountain. Due to the cold temperatures, wind, and even more cold temperatures, they had to close some chairs and runs today. Silver Mountain had to outright close today due to the weather proving, yes, it can be too cold and windy even for ski resorts. All right, let's take a look at our forecast here locally because, again, it is incredibly cold outside tonight. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center. Thomas, it says 10 degrees right here. My goodness, it is chilly.
Yeah, and then when you factor in the winds on top of that, feels like 0 degrees or thereabouts as of this moment. The difference between tonight versus last night is that it is a little bit colder temperature wise. It's not quite as windy, so our wind chills end up about the same as where we were from this morning. So our wind chill advisory is still in effect until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, as those wind chills themselves between about 0 to -20 during the entire overnight hours right through tomorrow morning. Here are the low temperatures that we're forecasting. Some areas could get below 0 like we see out of Newport and up towards Bonners Ferry, and with that fresh snow on the ground even here in Spokane, certainly adding to the pain of these cold temperatures. Could get down to around 3 degrees, one of the coldest temperatures we've experienced all winter long. So when we look at the wind chill chart, again, a little bit colder, so the circles slid to the right, not quite as windy, but that still puts us in this region between about -5 to about -20 during the overnight hours. And of course, for our pets, obviously some pets fare a little bit better in the colder weather than others, but probably not a good idea to let them sleep outside when it is this cold. Bring them inside for tonight. Again, those Arctic breeds handle the weather a bit better than some others, but you know your pet's tolerance in terms of the cold weather overall. The winds, still a big factor today, especially that cold northeasterly wind, but should be calming down for the rest of this week. So we'll show you when these winds calm down, when the worst of the cold weather is through, and how we recover heading into the weekend.
All right, sounds good, Thomas. Thank you very much. And today's sub-freezing temperatures are proving to be a challenge for many drivers around the region. According to the Washington State Department of Transportation, plows were sent out today with sand rather than salt because salt only works above 15 to 20 degrees. Transportation officials say those icy roads led to at least 60 accidents yesterday. Today, drivers fared much better with just 5 accidents reported so far. The city says crews will continue to operate 20 hours a day, and they will continue to monitor streets on an hourly basis.
Absolutely. I mean, we were able to add additional space yesterday, and we're continuing to add space. There are spots in the system that are still unused, and we focused on areas that were historically need areas.
With the bitter cold, many people are asking the city of Spokane to help the homeless community. The city announced today that it had actually explored a location for an additional shelter during this Arctic blast. That location was at 5205 North Florida Road. That's near Freya and Queen, which is a city-owned property. But city spokesperson Brian Coddington said there was a lot of pushback from the surrounding neighborhood. So coming up in about 5 minutes from now, we'll share the story of how some community members are helping those stuck out in the cold tonight. Well, in other news this evening, last week we heard from the family of a man who was shot and killed by Clearwater County deputies last month. Tonight, we're hearing from the attorney representing the deputies. He says their use of deadly force was justified and that body camera footage will show why. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is live in the newsroom tonight with more on the deadly encounter. Kyle?
Well, Mark, to be clear, that body cam video has not been made public, but attorney Joe Felicetti told me he's watched it and is confident investigators will agree this shooting was justified. The family of the man shot hired their own attorneys, and they want these deputies to face criminal charges.
Mike Trappett was his parents' primary caregiver. He struggled with bipolar disorder and was drunk on the early morning of January 31st when he grabbed a kitchen knife and threatened to harm himself. His mom called 911.
You have a person armed with a knife who's making an attack on an officer, and at that point they ended up using deadly force.
Joe Felicetti represents the 2 deputies who shot Trappett a total of 15 times outside his parents' Orofino home.
He's got a deadly weapon on him, and he is drunk and on drugs and engages law enforcement. That's just not a good recipe for anything or for anyone.
Trappett's family argues he was only a threat to himself.
When it comes to knife attacks, the range of death is 21 feet. There's video cam to document how close he was, but they estimated 8 to 10 feet. In that situation, you're in the zone of danger and you're authorized to use deadly force.
Attorneys representing Trappett's family claim deputies altered the crime scene and even pressured neighbors to say Trappett was aggressive.
Those are investigators that have come to a conclusion before investigating and are trying to protect their officers.
No reason for deputies to even be speaking with the people. The investigation is being done by Lewiston PD.
Felicetti says the deputies involved have a combined experience of 20 years in law enforcement.
Officers try and do everything they can to not use deadly force.
He says the shooting has been hard on them and their families.
This takes a toll on officers' lives. They train for this and they never ever want to do this.
And since this shooting involved the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office, an outside agency, in this case the Lewiston Police Department, is investigating. Trappett's family plans to file a notice of tort claim. That's a precursor to a lawsuit. In the newsroom, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law.
Tonight, President Joe Biden announced sanctions in response to Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to send troops into a region of eastern Ukraine. The sanctions would impact two large Russian financial institutions, in addition to cutting off Russia's government from Western financing. Those sanctions could also cut off some oil supplies, which could drive up gas prices. President Biden also says he is sending more firepower to the region with approximately 800 additional troops, along with 8 fighter jets and 32 helicopters. Germany also announced it will halt the $11 billion pipeline that would have moved natural gas from Russia to Germany. All right, now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Tonight, the FBI is investigating threats made to the Lapwai School District. The district sent all students home early today after threatening calls were made to their schools. The district posted on Facebook the school was put into lockdown before they eventually dismissed students for the day. Police were also on hand to ensure students were released safely. The school will be closed tomorrow as well out of an abundance of caution, the district said. The district has not released any details about what the phone call said or exactly what the threat was. Police are actively patrolling the area and warning community members to stay indoors. The FBI is also helping in the investigation. Well, ahead of the expiration of the statewide indoor mask mandate next month, the Colville School District is already dropping their masks. Students had the option today to wear a mask at school. This came after their school board voted last week to make them optional for students. Teachers, staff, and visitors, though, are still required to wear masks. Masks are also still required on school buses as a federal mandate. Colville is the third local school district to end the masks early, following Kettle Falls and the Richland school districts. Pre-sale tickets went on sale this afternoon for Paul McCartney's first ever show in Spokane, at least for American Express card holders, that is. But buyers be warned. The Spokane Public Facilities District, which runs the arena, says you should only buy tickets through ticketswest.com or directly through the Spokane Arena's website. Prices range from $99 to $299. Tickets open up for everyone starting on Friday. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. All right, taking a look at your Northwest news tonight. Dozens of Idaho lawmakers are looking to ban any future mask mandates in the state. House Bill 631 would prohibit the state of Idaho, a political subdivision, or an officer from the state from mandating the use of a face mask or shield, including inside schools. Those opposed to it are concerned about the impact this bill could have on the future of public health. The bill was hotly debated at the State House yesterday with a lot of back and forth over the science behind masks, especially for children. Well, this bill would only apply to government entities, not private businesses. And while the majority of those who debated the bill were against it, it did pass 46 to 24 and now heads to a Senate committee for consideration. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. After the break, we'll have the story about a local couple helping the homeless community during these frigid temperatures. Plus, a little later on, an update to our KREM 2 investigation into the Spokane shock. We are back in just 90 seconds.